Angela's Ashes. It is the most compelling story about poverty I've ever read. The book has been on the New York Times bestseller list for 27 weeks and is about Frank McCourt, his 5 brothers, 2 of whom did not survive, and their parents. The book takes place in Ireland, but it could be located anywhere, and Frank McCourt joins us now. The portrayal of poverty that you wrote in your book is, and I've been in the business of 20 years and I've seen poverty all over the world, the most affecting account that I've ever read. And it seems to me that as an adult, you remember those days as if they were yesterday. Is that true?
Well, you don't forget. One of the things I realized as I got older was that my life was very uncluttered in a material sense. Nothing. It's very hard to explain. When I was a teacher, I tried to explain to the kids how I grew up, that there was a bed, there was a table, there were 2 chairs and a trunk, and there was sticks of furniture, literally. We didn't have electricity, nothing digital, nothing electronic, so we were very clean in that sense. And food, there was no refrigerator, no larder, nothing like that. So in addition to that, we lived in a house that was falling down, built in the time of Queen Victoria. They were called artisans' dwellings, 2 up, 2 down. Well, the bottom floor was uninhabitable because in wet weather, from October until April, a lake would form at the bottom of this lane and it would flow in under our door. So we'd have to move upstairs.
Because it was all wet down. We must tell the audience that you lived in Limerick in Ireland.
Yeah,
it's a fairly good-sized town. And the reason that you were so poor was because your father didn't support the family, quite frankly.
He was an alcoholic.
He was a drunk and he spent his money on his booze. And your 2 little twin brothers died. Now, in the book, it's almost as they died from malnourishment.
Well, they were neglected. They weren't neglected deliberately. They were neglected out of ignorance. They needn't have died. I had a sister who died here. She was 21 days old. They all died of something respiratory, bronchial, pneumonia, and so on. And there was no need for it because my mother and father were very slow to go to doctors. They were afraid of doctors. I am myself. I rarely go to doctors. I'm afraid of them, doctors and lawyers. But they died not deliberate. My parents were deliberate. They were torn apart when these kids died. But they might have been able to survive if they've had
But their immune systems had to be...
They had no immune systems.
I mean, they had no nutrition. Now, your father could have supported the family as a laborer. He chose to drink instead. I don't think I could have forgiven a person who did that if I were a child. I don't think I could have forgiven my father if my father had done that. Did you forgive your father?
No. It's not that I didn't forgive him. It's not that I did forgive him. I just don't. I can't sit in judgment anymore.
Really?
After 27 years of teaching, I had to get out of it because I couldn't give this kid an A and that kid a B anymore. It's very hard for me to sit in judgment. I just like to relate what happened and let the reader make up his own mind.
Is it painful for you to think back when you didn't have any food and you're...
Yeah, it is. Not having the food was bad enough, but the psychological effects of poverty is what interests me, how it robs you of your self-esteem. It took me a long, long time to get some kind of self-esteem, and I only got it as a teacher in Stuyvesant High School when I achieved some kind of success. But the poverty, I arrived in New York, or back in New York when I was 19, vulnerable, wide open, and angry all the time, because if you don't have self-esteem, you're just angry all the time.
And I think the best portrayal of lack of self-esteem is from your mother, who is basically trapped.
Yeah, she was trapped.
I mean, she has these kids, she has no money coming in, she has to beg on the streets, demean herself, just to get you guys to survive another day.
Then you get back to nothing again. People say, well, why didn't your mother do something? Why didn't she get a job? Where?
No,
there were no jobs, and there were no factories.
Not America in the system.
No, it was not America. There was nothing.
We only have a minute left. I think everybody in America should read the book because it gives you more compassion for people who are poor. But in this country, we do have safety nets. It's different in America.
Yeah.
And do you have any words for people who may not feel sorry for poor people? Should we pity every poor person?
I think so. We should. We should understand them. We should try to understand what poverty is. I've become a connoisseur of poverty because I wanted to convey the stink of it, particularly.
And you did.
You see starving kids on television in Africa and so on, Haiti, but until you get the stink of it, you don't know what it is, and until you feel the hopelessness of it, you don't know what it is.
Well, thanks for writing that book, and I hope you'll come back again for further discussion on this. It was really a moving book that everybody should read.
Thank you.